The Buddha walked through the tranquil forest, his steps deliberate, and his presence serene. His disciples followed in silent reverence. He paused beneath a towering tree, its branches forming a shelter, its roots grounding wisdom. He turned to speak. Compassion is the thread that weaves the fabric of existence, he began, his voice as steady as the earth beneath them. Imagine a circle with no beginning, no end. Its center radiates kindness to every point without distinction or hesitation. A disciple named Sariputta bowed respectfully, his eyes filled with curiosity. Modern medicine, the Buddha continued, is like a gardener tending soil. Without the Dharma, healing remains incomplete like untended lotus blooms. He gestured towards the lotus blooming in the pond nearby. The lotus rises untouched by the mud. So should compassion ascend. Ananda, standing nearby, spoke softly. Master, the world weighs heavy with cruelty and suffering. How can one remain compassionate in the face of such trials? The Buddha folded his hands, his presence unwavering. Compassion must be rooted in equanimity. Like a flame undisturbed by the winds of chaos, he looked to the horizon, where the sun dipped low, casting shadows upon the earth. Let compassion illuminate even the darkest corners. His words sank deeply into the hearts of his disciples, each reflecting on their own struggles, doubts, and fears. The Buddha continued, his voice imbued with clarity. A circle embraces all points equally, neither preferring nor discarding. Such is the nature of boundless compassion. Sariputta pondered aloud. Master, how can one maintain this circle of compassion when faced with injustice or anger? The Buddha picked up a leaf fallen at his feet, holding it delicately. Even the leaf does not resent the tree for letting it go. He released the leaf, watching as it fluttered to the ground. Compassion finds strength in forgiveness, dissolving anger like dew in morning light. Ananda stepped closer. Master, how does one cultivate compassion when the heart feels burdened with sorrow or resentment? The Buddha pointed to the flowing stream nearby. Its waters unending. Sorrow flows like water, yet compassion steadies the current with purpose and direction. His disciples listened intently, absorbing the analogy, finding solace in the gentle wisdom flowing from their teacher. The Buddha sat upon the earth, his posture straight, his aura calm. Compassion is the antidote to suffering, the balm for a wounded soul. He reached into the soil, holding a handful of earth in his palm. Just as this earth supports life, compassion nurtures the spirit. Sariputta asked hesitantly, Master, how does one reconcile compassion with justice when harm has been done and fairness is demanded? The Buddha let the soil fall from his hand, scattering onto the earth below. Justice without compassion becomes harsh. Compassion softens the edges. He rose to his feet, his movements graceful, deliberate. Balance justice and compassion as one balances earth and water, two elements, harmonious in nature. Ananda gazed at the sky, where the stars began to emerge, faint yet luminous. Master, does compassion have limits, or is it infinite? The Buddha replied, compassion, like the stars above, is boundless when the heart relinquishes attachment and embraces interconnection. He gestured toward the forest surrounding them. This forest thrives in interconnectedness. Let compassion entwine your spirit with the lives of others. His disciples pondered the profound depth of his words, finding within them seeds of understanding to nurture and grow. Sariputta looked inward, the questions he carried slowly unraveling. Master, how can compassion prevail when fear clouds the mind and uncertainty looms? The Buddha reached for a stone, holding it tightly before dropping it into the stream. Fear sinks, yet compassion flows endlessly. The stream carried the stone away, its path unbroken, unyielding. Compassion transcends fear. as water transcends obstacles, carving new paths through resistance. Ananda asked cautiously, "Master, how can one avoid selfish motives when practicing compassion in daily life?" The Buddha folded his robe neatly, his movements calm. Compassion born of selflessness shines brightest. Unmoved by personal gain or recognition, he stood near the edge of the pond, where reflections danced upon the surface. True compassion reflects the purity of intention. Sariputta added, "Master, can compassion heal pain when it feels too heavy for one to bear?" The Buddha touched the ground, his hand resting upon the earth. Pain is fleeting, but compassion endures, grounding us in stability and purpose. He rose, his presence commanding yet humble. Compassion is a steady anchor amidst the turbulent waves of life's impermanence. Ananda questioned further, "Master, how does one embody compassion when the heart feels weary? The spirit drained?" The Buddha gazed toward the rising moon, its light soft and soothing. Compassion renews the weary soul, its light unyielding and restorative. The moon illuminated their gathering, casting a serene glow upon the disciples as they absorbed the Buddha's wisdom. He spoke again, his voice resonating deeply. Compassion begins with understanding, flourishes through empathy, and reaches completion in selflessness. Sariputta added thoughtfully, "Master, how can one teach compassion to those who resist its essence?" The Buddha extended his hands toward the sky, palms open. "Teach by example, not words." Compassion demonstrated is compassion understood. He gazed at each disciple, their faces reflecting their inner growth. "Let actions illuminate paths where words fall silent." Ananda asked softly, "Master, is compassion ever wasted on those who reject it or scorn it?" The Buddha shook his head gently, his expression serene. Compassion, once given, reverberates eternally, touching lives in ways unseen and profound. He gestured toward the forest once more. The trees standing firm yet flexible, like the trees give shade freely. Compassion offers refuge unconditionally. His disciples sat quietly, their hearts and minds absorbing the immense depth of his teachings. Finding clarity amidst complexity, the disciples listened intently, their minds seeking clarity in the Buddha's profound perspective shared under the river's twilight. Sky. The body is the vessel, but the mind and spirit are the essence needing nourishment of wisdom and boundless compassion, he taught. He turned to face his disciples, his presence radiant with wisdom. Carry compassion forward, into every moment, every life you touch. The disciples bowed low, their hearts swelling with purpose. The forest echoed their silent devotion, their commitment to the circle of compassion. The Buddha smiled softly, his eyes filled with infinite kindness. Let compassion guide your journey. Its circle is endless, its purpose divine. He walked away, his silhouette merging with the forest, leaving behind the echoes of wisdom that transcended time itself. Another day, the Buddha walked along the banks of the lotus pond, its waters reflecting the calm of his presence. His disciples gathered around, their footsteps light, their hearts open to the wisdom that awaited. He paused and spoke, "Equanimity is the balance of the mind, the arithmetic of inner peace amidst life's shifting tides and storms." He gestured toward the ripples spreading across the pond. "Observe how the water moves but always returns to stillness." A disciple named Subhuti knelt beside the Buddha, his voice filled with hesitation. "Master, how can one achieve such balance?" The Buddha picked up a pebble, holding it delicately in his palm. "Balance arises when one releases attachment and aversion." He tossed the pebble into the water, watching the ripples spread and dissipate. "Let equanimity remain unshaken by disturbances." Subhuti asked thoughtfully, "Master, is equanimity not an act of detachment? Does it not distance one from life's joys and sorrows?" The Buddha smiled, his expression serene. Equanimity is not detachment but harmony, a state of mindfulness free from clinging and resistance. He motioned toward the pond's edge, where reeds swayed gently in the breeze. It bends with the wind yet never breaks. Another disciple, Maha Kassapa, stood silently, his brow furrowed. Master, how does one remain mindful amidst the chaos of daily life? The Buddha placed his hands together, his movements deliberate and calm. Mindfulness is the foundation, the arithmetic that subtracts distraction and adds clarity. He gazed at the distant mountains, their peaks shrouded in mist. Equanimity rises when one observes without judgment, understanding without grasping. Subhuti spoke again. Master, what role do desires play in the arithmetic of the mind? Are they not obstacles to equanimity? The Buddha walked toward a flowering tree, its blossoms vibrant and fragrant. Desires are like flowers, beautiful yet impermanent. They cannot be clung to. He touched a falling petal, letting it drift to the ground. By letting go of attachment, one finds the path to peace. The disciples listened intently, their hearts stirred by the clarity and depth of the Buddha's teachings on balance and equanimity. Ananda stepped forward, his voice steady but curious. Master, what of anger? How does one achieve balance when anger clouds the mind? The Buddha knelt by the pond, cupping water in his hands. Anger is a flame. Equanimity cools it, like water soothing a burning ember. He released the water, allowing it to return to the pond. In equanimity, anger transforms into understanding, a mirror reflecting wisdom. Maha Kassapa added, Master, can one practice equanimity when injustice persists? When suffering appears unending and overwhelming? The Buddha stood, his gaze unwavering. Equanimity is not passive but active. It engages with suffering while remaining free from despair. He gestured toward the pond's surface, where insects skated lightly, leaving no trace. Act with compassion, guided by balance, undisturbed by outcomes. The disciples sat in silent reflection, absorbing the profound interplay between balance and compassion, equanimity and active engagement. Subhuti questioned softly, Master, how can one overcome fear, which shakes the balance of the mind and fills the heart with unrest? The Buddha placed his hand upon Subhuti's shoulder, his touch steadying. Fear is a shadow. Equanimity brings light, dispelling shadows with clarity and courage. He motioned toward the rising sun, its light illuminating the dark corners of the forest. Let equanimity be your guide through fear. Ananda gazed at the ripples again, their patterns soothing and rhythmic. Master, does equanimity not conflict with love and deep emotions? The Buddha lifted a lotus from the pond, its form perfect and serene. True love rests upon equanimity, like the lotus upon water. He held the flower gently. Equanimity sustains love, ensuring it remains selfless, unconditional, unshaken by turmoil or change. The disciples pondered deeply, finding the Buddha's words both challenging and enlightening, illuminating their paths toward balance and harmony. Maha Kassapa asked, Master, how does one maintain equanimity in the face of loss, when the heart is heavy with grief? The Buddha walked to a tree shedding its leaves, his gaze steady. Grief is a season of life. Equanimity sees all seasons as transient. He gathered a fallen leaf, its color vibrant yet fading. Accept loss with gratitude for what was, without clinging to what is gone. Subhuti observed the pond's surface stilling once more, its calmness mesmerizing. Master, is equanimity ever perfected, or is it an unending practice? The Buddha turned to him, his expression serene. Equanimity is a journey, not a destination. It deepens with mindfulness, evolving endlessly like the river. He gestured toward the horizon, where the pond merged with the earth. Equanimity flows, adapting to life's currents while remaining true to itself. The disciples felt the weight of his words, their spirits uplifted by the simplicity yet depth of his teachings on balance. Ananda reflected aloud, "Master, how can one teach equanimity to others who may resist or misunderstand its essence?" The Buddha pointed to the blossoming trees nearby, their colors radiant. "Teach by embodying equanimity, like the tree offering flowers without demand or expectation." He smiled gently, his expression filled with compassion. "By living balance, you inspire balance, planting seeds where resistance once dwelled." The disciples sat in thoughtful silence, their minds embracing the challenge of embodying balance amidst life's trials and joys alike. The Buddha stepped toward the pond, his movements as fluid and natural as the water itself. "Balance the arithmetic of life." He turned to face his disciples, his presence luminous with understanding. "Subtract fear, add mindfulness, multiply compassion, achieve harmony through equanimity." The pond reflected the moonlight, its glow a mirror of the wisdom that shone through the Buddha's words and actions. The disciples bowed deeply, their gratitude immeasurable, their resolve to practice equanimity unwavering. The Buddha's presence filled them with peace. The night embraced the lotus pond, its waters still and harmonious, echoing the lessons of balance that transcended time itself. Another day, the Buddha climbed the hill of Vulture Peak, the air crisp and filled with the promise of profound teachings. His disciples followed closely, their footsteps steady, their hearts open to wisdom that would illuminate their paths. He began speaking. "Transformation is the calculus of existence, where every moment alters us, and every intention shapes our journey toward enlightenment." He pointed toward the river below, its flow unbroken yet constantly changing. Life's currents teach us impermanence and the beauty of change. A disciple named Kashyapa stepped forward, his voice calm yet curious. "Master, how does one embrace transformation without fearing its unpredictability?" The Buddha knelt and gathered a handful of sand, letting it slip through his fingers. To fear change is to resist life itself. He watched the grains scatter to the wind. Transformation offers freedom from stagnation, allowing growth and renewal to guide our purpose. Another disciple, Ananda, looked at the distant horizon, his mind pondering, "Master, how can transformation lead us to stability amidst uncertainty?" The Buddha pointed toward the sun, rising steadily despite clouds obscuring its light. "In understanding, we find unity, just as the lotus blooms in the same swamp but remains unique. So too do we each follow our own path, embrace impermanence and find stability within the wisdom it reveals." Kashyapa asked thoughtfully, "Master, does transformation require suffering, or can one evolve through peace and joy instead?" The Buddha turned to him, his expression calm yet firm. "Suffering and joy are both teachers. Transformation arises when one learns equally from each." He motioned toward a blooming flower nearby, its petals vibrant. A seed breaks open in darkness, yet its growth brings light. The disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing the depth of the Buddha's teachings on transformation and the calculus of existence. Ananda spoke softly, "Master, how can one act with intention, ensuring transformation aligns with wisdom and compassion?" The Buddha stood and placed his hands upon his heart. "Intention is the root of transformation. Plant it deeply in mindfulness and compassion." He gestured toward the flowing river below. "Every ripple begins with movement. Let your actions create ripples that nurture and uplift others." Kashyapa reflected aloud, "Master, does transformation not lead to loss, as one must let go of past identities and attachments?" The Buddha walked to the edge of the peak, gazing at the landscape. "Loss is a shadow. Transformation is the light that follows." He opened his arms to the breeze. "In letting go, one finds freedom, shedding attachments to embrace the fullness of life's journey." Ananda added thoughtfully. Master, how can transformation inspire resilience when one feels weakened by challenges or overwhelmed by change? The Buddha pointed toward the trees below, their branches reaching skyward. Resilience grows from understanding. Trees rise tall despite storms, rooted deeply. He touched the ground, steady and firm. Root yourself in purpose. Let transformation lift you, just as the earth supports the tree. Kashyapa questioned, Master, how does one integrate wisdom into the practice of transformation, ensuring its direction remains virtuous and meaningful? The Buddha turned to face him, his gaze unwavering. Wisdom is the compass. Transformation follows where understanding leads. Guided by the light of insight, he extended his hand to the horizon. Observe the sun's path. It teaches constancy of purpose amidst change and impermanence. Ananda reflected further. Master, how can one transform peacefully, without resistance or conflict within the mind? The Buddha walked to the edge of the cliff, his steps deliberate. Peace arises when acceptance begins. Resistance dims the spirit. Embrace what unfolds. He motioned toward the river, carving its path below. Life flows, shaping the earth without struggle. Let transformation guide you with similar grace. Kashyapa observed the interplay between light and shadow cast by the sun. Master, can transformation not create confusion, leading one astray? The Buddha picked up a stone, holding it firmly. Confusion is a stone thrown into water. Calm the mind, and clarity reveals its true path. He released the stone, letting it roll gently down the hill. Let transformation be deliberate, guided by wisdom rather than impulsive reactions. Ananda gazed at the sky, its colors shifting as evening approached. Master, is transformation ever complete, or does it continue eternally? The Buddha extended his hands toward the heavens. Transformation is eternal. Life evolves moment by moment, each change leading to deeper understanding. He gestured toward the stars, their light constant but distant. As stars guide travelers, transformation guides the soul toward endless growth. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts and minds awash with clarity and purpose, their paths illuminated by the Buddha's wisdom. The Buddha turned back to the gathering, his presence radiant, his voice steady and kind. Embrace transformation with courage and joy. He began descending the hill, his steps resonating with purpose. Let every moment teach you. Let every intention shape the journey ahead. The disciples followed in silence, their spirits lifted, their resolve strengthened by the lessons of impermanence and the calculus of existence. The sun set upon Vulture Peak, its light golden and serene. The wisdom of transformation lingered, transcending time and space. Through the interplay of golden wings and mindful choices, they discovered liberation and clarity. The Buddha's teachings illuminated their lives, offering hope and understanding for generations to come. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.